Right.
In part, this is a response to Dave Rudy's question, and I've learned two important lessons in life about how to stay happy, and one is that my wife is always right, and the second is don't fight losing battles, and those are actually closely related lessons. In the May meeting, I made a presentation on why I thought spacing had no impact on the consequences of reported MPA plans, and rather the outcomes are driven by the amount of each habitat in the reserves, and that networking really amounts to exchange between both protected areas and unprotected areas, both of larvae, etc. But I know I'm going to lose that battle, so I'm not going to fight it anymore. But I did want to comment on another concept of replication, and that is replication is really one of the most important concepts in science. That is, if you were to conduct the experiment that somebody else published using their materials and methods, you would get the same result. Now, if you think about that in terms of this process, and were to take another equally august body of scientists and run them through the same process, my suspicion is you'd end up with probably quite different guidelines, in fact, perhaps a whole different structure for evaluation. So really we're sitting here imposing an evaluation framework that is a historical accident of who was involved, particularly in the first area, and all the basic framework was set then, and we've been carrying it through. And I just want to point out that many elements of the master plan have been treated very superficially or not at all. So we've devoted an enormous amount of energy to size and spacing, and let's say almost nothing to adaptive management, as an example. And what, I think in the first meeting I attended, I looked at the act and I said, well, there's no guidance in here. This act doesn't tell us much. So, you know, in reality, it's been the science process that has forced all of these proposals to be very, very similar. And I've just sort of growing concerns about the impact that time limitation has had. We talked about having quantitative levels of protection. We simply didn't have time to get there. We still have representativeness of habitats with a threshold. You know, if you're half a square foot greater than a number, you don't count as representative, etc. And so I think much of our final results have not really been the best possible science, but really the science that the SAT and the RSG could do in the exact time that was given to them. And many of the steps along the way seem reasonable. When I look at the whole evaluation process, I just can't see putting my name on that package and saying that I really want to see, you know, when the day of judgment comes, I can just see someone saying, did you really think that that was a good evaluation package? So since there is no opportunity to vote on the whole package, I am going to vote no on the size and spacing guidelines, just to express my general concern about the way the process has ultimately evolved, and particularly the time limitations.